VC, Dave here, just jumping on to share all the recent pickups that I've got here, mostly jazz, and all picked up locally, which is great. And the first record is one that I've been looking for quite a few years, and that's Don Cherry and the Jazz Composers Orchestra, Relativity Suite on JCOA Records from 1973. It's an original pressing. Amazing artwork, very diverse record. This is fantastic. You can check this out on YouTube. Got quite a few players on here that are featured on the different tracks. Frank Lowe on tenor. Don Cherry, of course, is on trumpet throughout. Carlos Ward on alto. And Charlie Hayden on bass. Carla Bley on piano, and Ed Blackwell on the last track on the drums is kind of a marching type track. Very cool. Hard record to track down. Was really stoked to find this for a really, really good price. So that kicks things off from what I found at Lunchbox. Also grabbed this there. They had a nice little stack of records come in, and this is Kenny Drew and Niles Henning Orsted Peterson duo live in concert from 1975 on Steeplechase. This is a Denmark pressing, original. Man, this is a dynamic record. These guys absolutely kill it. I played this for my friend Joe the other night, and he was blown away. Had to spin this a few more times since at his request. Of course, Orsted Peterson, easily my favorite jazz bassist, and this record would be a very large example as to why. Just absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. Kenny Drew, no slouch as well on this record. Highly, highly recommended. The next, Old and New Dreams first record from 1977 on the Great Black Saint label. Lineup, Don Cherry, Dewey Redman, Charlie Hayden, and Ed Blackwell as well here. And this original Italy pressing. Very, very stoked that these came in. Anything from these guys I recommend, and yeah, outstanding. The next from Lunchbox, this is the kind of the remix album that Micaiah McCraven put out, drummer out of the UK from that great London scene. This is Where We Come From, Chicago and London mixtape. Just does some great things with these tracks. Great players. Joe Armand Jones on Rhodes, Nubia Garcia on sax, Kamal Williams, who I highly recommend checking out any of his albums, on keys, Theon Cross on tuba, Soweto Kinch on sax, and of course Micaiah McCraven on the drums. Another great offering here. This is on the International Anthem Recording Company label. Everything I've found on this label has been just top-notch as far as pressing and packaging, everything involved. Another one recommended here. I think it came out in 2018. The next, this is one I really thought I'd never come across. Originally put out in France, 1959. This is the Japanese pressing from the same year. Art Blakey at Les Jazz Messengers, Club Saint-Germain, Volume 1. Of course, there is Volume 2 and Volume 3 I'd like to track down as well. Again, this is the Japanese press. Pretty rare to find this here in the States, or if at all. Great performance here from Art and crew. This is on the Victor label. Hoping to track down the other two at some point soon. And then we have some records I picked up at Tip Top. Hadn't been in there in a while, and timing was good. Stumbled across just a few things, but this one here, fairly rare. I had never seen this in the wild before. Gary Bart's Quintet, Libra on Milestone. Man, I can't remember the year on this one, but lineup includes Jimmy Owens, Albert Daly, Richard Davis, and Billy Higgins. Great album. Love Gary. Can't recommend this one enough as well. And also picked this one up for $4. Covers a little beat, but it's a promo. Elvin Jones, the main force on Vanguard. I think it's from '76, and plays fantastic. This is a little bit on the funkier end of things from Elvin Jones, his solo efforts, but in a different lineup. Pat LaBarbera on reeds, Ryo Kawasaki on guitar, which I really dig on this, and Dave Williams on the bass. You can grab this for under $5 pretty much anywhere. Great one here. Of course, Elvin just crushing it on the drums as always. And also found this, which I've had on CD for, God, almost 20 years. At the Drive-In in Sunshine, 12-inch. This is on pink vinyl. Pretty rare 12-inch to find nowadays. This was released in '99. This is on Big Wheel Recreation is the label. Sunshine, a band from the Czech Republic. Really good driving guitars and electronics. And then the At the Drive-In tracks. There's a really badass track, and then another one that's more electronic. Just a great 12-inch. We're just at the Drive-In from El Paso. And then this past Saturday, my man Dylan had a pop-up. Divine Barrel Brewing, Noble Records, brought in about 5,000 of them. Found just a few, but some really great ones. John Coltrane with the Red Garland Trio. This is Training In. This is a reissue. I think this came out in the late 50s originally. Had a completely different cover with some really cool artwork. Would love to track one down, but they usually go for well over $100. So I was happy to grab this really cheap. It's an OJC, and OJCs sound fantastic. This is from '85, in great shape. Very stoked. One of the last Coltranes that was needed for the collection. Got maybe just a couple more impulse to go, and about done. Yeah, let's see what else we got from Dylan. Miles Davis, Miles in the Sky, a '68 original stereo pressing on Columbia. Cover is beat, but this was really cheap, and plays just fine. Very stoked, and this has just the iconic lineup: Herbie Hancock on piano, Wayne Shorter on tenor, Ron Carter on the bass, and Tony Williams crushing it on the drums. And this is kind of a in-between album for Miles. You could see where he was getting ready to go, and the group was along for the ride at the time. And this is excellent. Very stoked to run across a copy. And then had picked those up and was getting ready to roll, and decided to go through the dollar bins, and glad I did. This one was sitting right there in the front. Yeah, Cecil Taylor, the Cecil Taylor unit, original. Geez, I can't remember the year on this. This is from I think '78 maybe. Gatefold, in decent shape. This was a library copy for Wingate College. Somebody never returned it. I'd love to see what their bill would be if they did. And this is on label. I only have this record on this label here, so this is on New World Records. Very, very good condition. Probably just sat in the library forever until whoever got a hold of it never returned it. Ended up in the dollar bin. Very, very stoked with this. This is heavy free jazz from Cecil Taylor and crew. Ronald Shannon Jackson is an absolute beast on the drums. I mean, this is just fucking heavy. Killer album. Next, out of the dollar bin, Mahavishnu Orchestra live, Between Nothingness and Eternity. I believe this was live in Central Park. This is a wild album for sure. Yeah, it's going to take me a few listens on this one. Of course, John McLaughlin on guitar, who's always killer. Jan Hammer on piano and Moog. And Billy Cobham on the drums. Man, it's like they did all of the drugs all at the same time. I mean, just dipped into every part of it. This is an insane record. From '74 is my pressing. Not a first, but maybe a second or third press. And then, yeah, Dylan was nice enough to bring this record for me that he had found months and months ago. Yeah, this is La Planète Sauvage, the original soundtrack recording. The music is by Alain Goraguer. Originally released in France. Can't recall the year, but the cover art is completely different on the original. Originals go usually 200 up, and just didn't want to spend that kind of money. This is Superior Viaduct putting this out. I think this is the 2014 press, and they just do a killer job on their reissues. So I was very, very stoked to get this. Amazing stuff. This is on YouTube. Fantastic. So yeah, that's everything that I picked up. Been some new stuff coming out that I'll be picking up here probably Friday. So stoked about that. The new Pelican record, the new Pile record. There's quite a few things I'm behind on. So anyway, I hope everybody's well. Peace.